Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monte Carlo, the principality, the glamour capital of the Formula 1 calendar. I am of course KGibbsGP, here once again as always to bring you highlights today from the Monaco Grand Prix, Season 6, FormulaXbox, Round 6 of this season. And ultimately it's been massively unpredictable so far. We've had 5 different winners from the first 5 races, with Casey Legend in the Toro Rosso taking out his maiden victory of this campaign, last time out in Spain. Now Monaco, it's tight, it's technical, it punishes every little mistake, and we're bound to see incidents if the history book is anything to go by. FormulaXbox, when it comes to Monaco, is usually full of incident-packed races and plenty of action. They say it's impossible to overtake, but we've seen some pretty stunning racing here in the past, and I doubt it's going to be very different today at all. We've got Maestro on pole position after stealing the pole really from RBZ, who was widely tipped to get the P1 spot in qualifying. He starts third, and we've got Insignia splitting the two in second for McLaren. As we're about to cross over to the grid now and begin this 39 lap race around the streets of Monaco. 5 lights, and away we go. Casey Legend with a good start from P5. The rest of them at the front have got away pretty well, as we see Luke now heading into turn 1. He's got Lars on the inside of him. Top 3 away in the order that they qualified, as we see Luke losing ground there and go down to P7 as Lars in the manner dispatched him early on there. So it is Maestro from Insignia, RBZ, and then we've got Nor in P4 as we've got a car out there. It's Insignia, I think. Insignia's come to grief early on there. Nor seems to have got ahead of RBZ as well, so the Haas has dropped 1 place, and that's going to mean that Maestro can get away in the lead, as you can see on the map now. So as they all head through down into Portier now, Lars taking a very tight apex there. He's collided with Luke. Luke's come to grief there. Lars is in the wall. He's out of this race, and disastrous start from the manor. He made up a position early on, and it's all gone wrong for him there. We've got a safety car deployed now as well, with the manor stricken on the exit of Portier, and absolute disaster early doors there. As we see, it was a similarly bad start to the race of K Gibbs, who ultimately is going to have to serve a drive-through penalty after it seems like his foot slipped off the clutch there. So yeah, all action at the start there. We had Insignia having a moment at Casino, and after a really good start for him, getting away in P2 and seemed to be running quite well closely to Maestro, has ultimately thrown away the race, and he's got a lot of ground to make up now, as we see all those that came to grief on lap 1 boxing now, and Sam goes onto the soft compound tyres, as we see Red Bull actually having a double stack, with K Gibbs making it into the box first and Drastic Devil just behind him. So K Gibbs comes out ahead of Sam just as they entered, and we've got Luke in the pit lane as well after his incident with Lars. And so it's all, and Insignia's hit K Gibbs as he's come out the pit lane. I've never seen that before, and yeah, so Insignia having more dramas on lap 2 as he actually collides with K Gibbs. It is quite a difficult pit exit here. You can't really see when someone's emerging from the pit lane until you're right on top of them, as Dan Mack now forces his way past Sam. That was opportunistic at Raskash. You don't often see that. So Dan Mack, the only man left in this race, has made the move stick on the Australian Grand Prix winner, and you see from Dan Mack's perspective now, sees the opportunity to go down the inside of Sam. The door was open, and Dan stuck his foot in there and snatches what is P13, but with several cars diving onto the pit lane, and it's going to become, well, P10. As we see now, Sinan in his Renault behind Drastic Midget. He's going to look to the inside now as they head on the run down to Mirabeau. Easy peasy for Sinan after he got the jump on him at a Casino, and that is P9. He's got Prototype Budgie ahead in the McLaren now, and it seems like the McLaren's holding up a little bit of a train at the moment, with it looks like Hickey just ahead. So back on board now with Luke after his early dramas. He's now in the back of Drastic Midget again. He's going to have to dive to pit road once more on lap 5 to get another replacement front wing. We've got Drastic Midget, Luke and K Gibbs all in the pit lane. And I believe this is actually a replay of their pit stops, in fact, after we just saw Dan Mack pass Sam, and I think this is the train of cars that dived onto the pit lane as Dan passed the Ferrari. So as we see now, Luke having to get his front wing replaced. They come out in the order in which they went in, but it looked actually, I say that, it looked like KGibbs got the jump on Luke there actually. As we see Sinan go for a move on Prototype Budgie, he's in the wall, so more carbon fibre that goes flying as another driver hits the wall early on. And so Sinan, whether he'll be able to carry on with that sort of damage, I don't know, but we'll soon find out, as Prototype Budgie maintaining a good track position he's got early doors here, as we see KGibbs now serving his drive-through penalty after a safety car laps, after having to make pit stops. Is his last chance to actually serve that penalty before he got disqualified, and he dutifully takes it. So a lot of ground for KGibbs to make up now. He's going to be hoping for a safety car to somehow claw back this massive deficit after numerous incidents and after his drive through down in P17. And it does look very, very bleak, to say the least, for the Red Bull man in this race. As we see Sam now boxing for a set of super soft tyres, his second pit stop of the race, and a new front wing for Sam as well at the same time. So he now drops to P14 and is down there with the likes of Sinan, who also has to pit, probably because of that front wing damage sustained that we saw earlier on. As we see now Danmac passing Suicidal Glove, who's in the wall. He's come to grief as well, and that's Prototype Budgie up into P7. So McLaren driver doing very, very well early stages here, keeping his nose clean, and ultimately gaining many positions because of it. And just as I say that, he actually understeers into the barrier at the hairpin. That was a commentator's curse for you right there. Danmac says thank you very much, takes P7, and it's actually Danmac who's making up all the ground at the moment. I think we caught a glimpse there of a bit of an incident between Prototype Budgie and Project, and we're going to see a replay of that now. Yeah, just turned into Portier far too early, Prototype Budgie, and clips the wall on the inside, hits the outside wall and takes Project with him. So I'm sure the Sauber driver won't be happy about that, and Manisha Kaltenborn on the pit wall will probably be making a call to Charlie. As we see now on board with Sinan heading through the swimming pool. He's lost it on the way in. That's disaster for Sinan. The German is out of this race. As we see down Drastic Midget passing the scene of the accident. Just so easily done. You just clip the inside wall at the swimming pool, and it's so fast through there that you just can't scoop up any sort of mistake. Speaking of mistake, Hickey's round there, and Danmac's picked off another place. P6 now for the Scot in the Manor. So he's making very good progress so far. We're back on board with Prototype Budgie now, down in P14. He's lost it at Casino. It was going so well for him. Just as I said, he was keeping his nose clean. We've seen 3 incidents in the space of just a few laps, and that's Prototype. But he hasn't lost the position, so he's done alright there. He's got Sinan behind him, P15, who's still quite a way back after his incident actually with Prototype Budgie just a little bit earlier on. And I'm sure the McLaren man will be trying to extend his tyre life. He tends to try and do the impossible in terms of pit stop strategies, and I'm sure Monaco is probably a pretty good place to try something a little bit different. As we see Drastic Midget now in P9 holding up quite a train behind him. We've got Sam in there, we've got Nor in there, we've got Luke in there as well, all in this long train. I think KGibbs isn't too far away either. So Drastic Midget now alongside Sam. Sam's going for the look on the inside, they make contact going into the Nouvelle Chicane. Drastic Midget's round Sam. I think it's taking damage to the front wing, and it's still up. No one actually made it through there, so everyone's still behind Drastic Midget on the exit, but I'm sure they'll both have to box after that. As we see a replay now from Sam's perspective, he goes to the inside, coming out of the tunnel. The two just get a little bit too close together, and ultimately it ends in contact. It's so easy in Monaco when you just push the envelope in terms of wheel-to-wheel racing. And to be fair, I called out as a racing incident. I'm sure it will go to the stewards, and I'm sure Sam will want that investigated. It seems like he actually came off worse there. He's going to have to make a 3rd pit stop in this race. No doubt we'll move on to the soft compound tyres and try and extend it all the way to the end of the race. With the softs have been holding up pretty well in practice, to be fair, so I'm sure they'll just try to Sam will just trying to extend the stint now all the way till the end. And we've seen in Australia that if any man can extend a tyre life, then it's going to be Sam in this Ferrari. So boys go to work. They 9.9 second pit stop. They fit a new front wing, and away he goes once again. Meanwhile, we're now on board with ElusiveKev in P4. In fact, for the Force India man, he's doing a sterling job at the moment. Again, he, Danmac, and we to extent Prototype Budgie earlier on, just keeping their noses clean, picking off plenty of places and getting right in the thick of things in terms of the big point scoring positions. So we see Luke with a fantastic move on Drastic Midget there. Brilliant stuff from Luke. That's why he's a world champion. And Yeah, phenomenal move, great racecraft, and he's now on the back of Drastic Devil just 1 lap later. DRS engaged, so he's going to try and make a move on the Red Bull. He's going to have the outside as they head into Saint-Devote. This is going to be difficult, as we see he clips the wall there. Drastic Devil jumps over the curb, and Luke picks him off around the outside, and I believe, as we're going to see now, replay, Drastic Midget, yep, following him through. And Drastic Midget's got a good run on Luke up Beau Rivage, but can't go anywhere up there. There's only room for one car up there. You're not going to be able to go 2 abreast. As we see Drastic Midget trying to take the opportunity to pick off Luke. He's getting so close to the back of the Toro Rosso. Into Mirabeau, makes a little bit of contact. Loses the tiny piece of his front wing as well, I think. But ultimately can't get through. And Drastic Devil's just going backwards at the moment. He's got his teammate behind him now. And I think he's going to let K-Gibbs go. Indeed he is. Probably a little bit of a call from Christian Horner there, with Drastic Devil seemingly really struggling for pace in this race at the moment. And K-Gibbs on that ultra soft tyre. He's got a tyre that's a step softer, and also with a superior pace advantage at the moment. Drastic Devil has done the right thing probably there and letting his teammate go. As we see now ElusiveKev now battling with Danmak, the 2 super performers so far in this race, have found themselves on the same bit of tarmac, and they've got RBZ in the Haas right behind him now, and the Haas is going to want to get a move on. And you'd imagine he'll try and make a move on Danmak. He's shaping up for it down into the Nouvelle Chicane. They're so close there. Danmak has to take to the runoff area. RBZ makes the move stick though, so it's a 3-second time penalty for Danmak, but RBZ has made the move stick as he gets very close to Tabac, the wall at Tabac I should say, as he hunts down ElusiveKev in the Force India. And as we see now, he actually makes the move just a couple of laps later, and it's Danmak now back on the back of ElusiveKev as they 2 make contact again. Danmak's lost a wheel, and it's game over for him in the manner after such a good race. Massively unlucky there for Danmak. Seems like there's a bit of lag involved as well, and Manner's day has gone from bad to worse. It's a double retirement for them. Lars in the wall at the end of lap 1, and lap 16 the promising drive for Danmak comes to an end, and bitterly disappointing for the Scot as him and Kev come to grief. Probably again we'll go to the stewards, but I doubt anything will come of that one, to be fair, with lag being a big factor. As we see K-Gibbs now going onto the soft tyre. Lap 16, he should be able to extend those to the end of the race, you would imagine. We saw Sam box for soft tyres on lap 10 in his Ferrari, and he'll be looking to go to the end on those as well. So with 6 laps younger tyres, K-Gibbs will surely be hoping he can get those to the end. As you see Drastic Midget now in P8, he's locked up onto the Nouvelle Chicane. He's lost it as well, just clipping the inside wall, and he's gone for a spin. As we see he boxes just a little while later to put on the super soft tyre, and through goes Casey Legend, who puts Drastic Midget a lap down, and Drastic Midget nearly hits the leader there as he came out of the pits. He's got a 5-second stop go for that as well. That was so close to hitting the back of the Toro Rosso. As we see Kev hopping across the curbs there, and RBZ finally makes the move on the Force India. I think in fact there may have been a replay from earlier, in fact, as we saw RBZ seem to have cleared Kev, or potentially RBZ may have even made a pit stop. So much going on in this race, it's difficult to keep track. As we see now Sam behind Drastic Devil. All we've seen so far in the midfield terms is people passing Drastic Devil so far, and looks like Sam's about to put a move on the Red Bull once again, as he looks to the inside at Saint-Devote. Later on the brakes, even with the soft tyres, he's going to make that move stick and up into P7 now. So he's going to be trying to chase down his teammate in P6, but to be fair, looking at the map there, he's an absolute country mile ahead, as we see Sam go down the inside of Drastic Devil now through Mirabeau. So Drastic Devil is just shipping places all the time in the Red Bull, and ultimately just people pit, they pass him, they pit, and they pass him again. So not a good day for Drastic Devil. His pace is just it's going nowhere. As we see K-Gibbs now once again passing his teammate, who looks like he got out of the way once more for K-Gibbs. As we see now Kev still on a very good drive here, looking to score his first points of the campaign. He boxes in P5, but it's a drive-through penalty for pit lane speeding. He did not need that, and we see a lap later coming in to serve it now. He's going to drop at least 2 positions, as we can see on the map. Sam and another driver are both approaching very quickly. It's actually Luke, the other one in that battle at the moment. And we may even be passed by K-Gibbs here. This is going to be close on the exit. With track position being key in Monaco, you'd imagine this is going to decide who finishes P8. So K-Gibbs approaching Saint-Devote now. This is going to be so close on the exit. Red Bull swoops around the outside and takes the place. So that's Kev, albeit on the ultra soft tyre. down into P9 there, and KGibbs is going to be under pressure, you'd imagine, from the Force India, given that the Force India is on the much faster compound. So KGibbs is going to have to ride the crest of a bit of a storm at the moment, because Kev is going to be all over him, as we see Drastic Devil in the wall there. So his day's not got any better, is it? It's ended in the barriers at the Lowe's hairpin, or the Fairmont hairpin as it's now called, as we see Hickey lapping Prototype Budgie. And Kev and KGibbs are coming to grief there, and it's Kev who spun out there. Again, a bit of lag on Kev's screen, just as we saw earlier with Danmac. And well, Kev's the one that's come off worse this time. He's going to have to box once again, and what looked like well, a little bit of an assault on P8 is going to become a case of trying to hold on to P9. And as I say that, he's probably going to be able to hold on to P9, in fact, because Drastic Midget has just received a puncture for getting a little bit too close to the barriers at the Nouvelle Chicane. So that's at least safeguarded Kev's P9. I don't think he's going to drop that position now, because both him and Drastic Midget are going to have to make at least one extra pit stop that they didn't plan to in this race. And I think Drastic Midget's probably got enough of a margin over Prototype Budgie not to lose the place, but we're soon about to find out, as he now dives onto pit road, and it'll be interesting to see what tyre he goes on to with 12 laps to go. He's obviously serving his 5-second stop-go penalty now, which may actually mean he does drop out the points here. As we see, front wing comes off, new wing goes on, ultra soft compound tyres, so it's a nice racy strategy from the Mercedes man. He's going to have to be, because he's dropped to P11 now. He's last of the runners, and he's got to try and close down Prototype Budgie in these remaining laps. As we see now a little bit later on, he's going to turn into the Nouvelle Chicane. He's done exactly what he did earlier, and he's got another puncture. So once again, Drastic Midget having a really bad day, and KGibbs puts a lap on him now, and he's going to go back onto the ultra soft compound tyres. So that's certainly not going to help him to try and hunt down Prototype Budgie, and I think that's going to be the McLaren in P10, earning a very well-deserved point, you have to say. As we see Hickey in the wall now, actually, so that's going to become even better for Prototype Budgie, as Hickey has found the barriers on the exit of the swimming pool, much the same, you'd imagine, as what happened to Sinan earlier. And just as I say that, Kev also finds the barriers on lap 34, clips off his front wing, and is probably going to have to make another pit stop. But ultimately, you'd imagine after Drastic Midget's dramas that Kev is still going to have P8 covered, and we see Drastic Midget has actually put the move on Prototype Budgie now, who, you'd imagine the McLaren man's also come to grief at some point there to have lost the place. As we see now, race leader Maestro with just 2 laps to go seems to have got this one covered. He's got Casey Legend behind him, but quite a long way behind as it stands. So ultimately it looks like it could be Maestro's first win of the campaign, but he seems to be slowing down heading towards Mirabeau. What's gone on here? It looks like he's got a puncture. He's got a left rear puncture for Maestro. He's just pushed the envelope on that tyre life, and ultimately it's... oh, is he going to be able to creep home? No, you can see Casey Legend is going to be surely going to be close enough to pass him. He can hardly keep control of the Williams now for Maestro. It's all gone wrong with just 2 laps to go. Just basically not even 3 minutes of racing remaining. And he's going to surely lose P1 here, as we see Casey Legend, yes, emerge from the tunnel. He's going to take the lead and surely take his second win of the season, his second win in succession as well, and one no less at Monaco, as Maestro's race just ends in disaster. Casey Legend takes the win. Luke, his teammates in P6, it was a good day for Toro Rosso, who extend their lead in the Constructors' title with that. But Maestro's going to be bitterly disappointed with that, losing the race win in Monaco to such cruel circumstances. And, well, you can't ride it, can you? I said this season was unpredictable, and we've had quite the Monaco Grand Prix there. Unbelievable for Maestro, who drops to P4 in the end. I feel devastated for him after that. That's just so unlucky. So it actually ends with Casey Legend in P1, Camundo, who pulled off a one-stop race just like Casey, who comes home P2. A very good recovery from what was a difficult qualifying, and it's RBZ in 3rd place, finishing where he started on that one after a couple of dramas for him during the race as well. So it's Toro Rosso who, like I said, extend their point lead in the points. It's Casey Legend on top of the driver's standings now after that, and he becomes the first driver to win 2 races in Season 6. It's been an absolute blockbuster of a Monaco Grand Prix there. Plenty of incidents to dissect, plenty of action, and ultimately a really exciting race. I think we're going to need to lie down after commentating that one. Hope you've enjoyed that, guys. I certainly have. And until next time, we'll be out. Next time out, we'll be in Canada. So the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. And until then, it's goodbye from me.